You're welcome to online lectures with Pharmaceutical the Schoolboy. Today we'll take a look at pharmaceutical chemistry and look at the topic dilutions. As usual, I'll pick a question on the topic to solve. And our reference book today, from where we get the question for today, is Introduction to Pharmaceutical Calculations by Judith A. Rees, Ian Smith, and Jenny Watson, 4th edition. Take a question from the topic dilutions and practice calculations from page 94. Practice calculations, question 15. Okay, the question says, what volumes of two stock solutions of 30% weight in volume and 60% weight in volume are required to make 300 ml of 40% weight in volume solution? As you can see, this question has to do with combining two stock solutions of different concentrations to produce another solution of entirely different concentration and volume. But we know the volume of the solution we want to produce, but we don't know the volume of this and this to combine to be able to produce 30 ml or 40% solution. So this question, to be able to achieve this, we look at alligations. And we have alligation medial, alligation alternate. Specifically, we need alligation alternate because in alligation alternate, you don't know the volume or the ratio or the proportion of the volume of the two solutions to combine to produce the third solution. But in medial, you know the volumes, you know the concentration, but you don't know the concentration of the final solution you want to do what? Produce. So here now we need alligation alternate. We need alligation alternate. And for us to be able to solve this question using alligation alternates, we have to have in mind of this formula where you have the V1 solution. V1 over V2 is equal to C3 minus C2 over C1 minus C3. V1 over V2 is equal to C3 minus C2 over C1 minus C3. So with this formula, we can solve this question. Solution. Sorry. Now let's define our parameters. From here now, V1, V2, we don't know V1, we don't know V2. Because that's what we're looking for. So V1 is unknown, V2 is unknown. Then C1 is the concentration of the first stock solution. So C1 is equal to 30% weight in volume. Then C2 is the second one, 60% weight in volume. C3 is the concentration of the final solution, which is 40% weight in volume. Now this should be V3 anyway, but the V3 is swallowed in this formula because no need, because the V3 here will be the summation of V1 and V2. But we'll keep it because we still need it. If we solve for V1 and V2 as proportion or ratio of V1 to V2, we now use this 300 ml to be able to find the respective values of V1 and V2. Because if you combine V1 and V2, it should give you 300 ml. So now let's use this formula to find V1, ratio of V1 to V2. So here now, since we don't know V1 and V2, so we will bring it out like this. V1 over V2 is equal to, C3 is what? C3 is 40%. 40% weight in volume minus C2. C2 is 60%. 60% weight in volume. All over C1. C1 is 30%. 30% weight in volume. Minus C3. C3 is 40%. 40% weight in volume. So if we subtract this, 40 minus 60, we have minus 20% weight in volume. 30 minus 40, we have minus 10% weight in volume. Weight in volume will cancel weight in volume. 0 will cancel 0. We have 2 over 1. So V1 over V2 is equal to 2 over 1. Which means that the proportion now means that V1 is to V2 as 2 is to 1. V1 is to V2 as 2 is to 1. So that means V1 is twice, the value of V1 is twice the value of what? V2. And value of V2 is half the value of V1. Now that's the meaning of this. That means if you combine V1 plus V2, it will give you 300 ml. That's the meaning. So how do we now get the actual value of V1 and V2 using this 300 ml? So let's do it here. So here now we have that since this is ratio 1, 2. 1, 2. We have what? 1 is to 2. So, and what the final volume is what? 300. So if you sum the ratios, we have 3. So 2, if you sum the ratio 1 plus 2, will give you 3. So this, if you want to get the value of V1, it becomes 2. So the ratio of V1 in the proportion of V1 in this sum is 2. So 2 over 3 times 300 will give you the value of V1. Then 1 over 3 times 300 will give you the value of what? V2. Let's go. So the total ratio is 2 plus what? 1, which is what? 3. Okay, I can say total proportion, anyone. So for V2, in that proportion, V1 is what? 2. V2 is what? 1. Therefore, value of V1 is equal to 2 over what? And total volume is equal to what? 300 ml. Therefore, value of V1 is 2 over 3 times 300 mil. 3 will cancel 300, we have 100. 2 times 100, we have 200 mil. V1 is 200 mil. Then value of V2 is equal to, the proportion of V2 there is 1. 1 over total, which is 3, times 300 mil. 3 divided 300 is what? 100. 1 times 100 mil is what? 100 mil. Therefore, V1 is equal to 200 mil and V2 is equal to 100 mil. As you can see, if you add these 200 plus 100 to give you 300 mil. So, the volumes of each of them, the volume of the first stock solution is what? Volume of this 30% weight in volume stock solution is what? 200 mil. While the volume of this 60% stock solution is what? 100 mil. So that's the answer. 100 and 200 mil. 100 and 200 mil. So we've come to the end of this class. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. I have my numbers on the screen. 08 on the board, 08138682003, 07012945891. This number, chat me up with this number on WhatsApp. You can save it with from any of these numbers with from a time to the schoolboy. So you can be receiving updates on my WhatsApp status on about anything concerning these calculations and these our online lectures. Please drop any question. If you have any question, drop it on this line. Thank you very much for your attention. See you next time. God bless you. Lest I forget, we'll be back online in the next few minutes for our chemistry lectures. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.